Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you could stop by here today. I'm going to be doing a tutorial for you for this box here. I showed this to you on a couple of videos back when I did an entry for Scrap Nuts challenge. She hit 2K on Instagram, so I had created this box. This was my inspiration, and I put some dangles inside for her entry. And a few of you had said that you would like to see a tutorial on how to create this box with the glueless acetate lid. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. I know it's been a while. We had a new addition to our family back in January in Maryland, and so I left about a month ago to go and spend some time with the family. So I'm just getting back a few days ago, and I apologize for the delay on the tutorial, but that's why it's coming in so late. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into this and show you how I created that box. So this is what you're gonna need. I did make it out of chipboard, and I will go ahead and leave a link to the video down below so that you guys can see what I created. I also have pictures posted of it on my Instagram if you wanted to check that out, but you can't really see it too much detail there. So this is the size chipboard that I'm using, and it is double-sided. Actually, it has white on one side, and I love using this with the white on the front because then you don't really have to add a designer paper or decorative paper on this side if you don't want to. So the measurements are 4.5 from left to right, and then from top to bottom is 5.5 inches. And then what I did was I went around on each side and I scored it at 1 inch. And then I took my paper trimmer, and I'll just do a little demonstration for you. And I just put it on my paper trimmer at the 1 inch mark. And then I did a light score. Okay, do a light score on all 4 sides. And you're not gonna go all the way through. Okay, because if you go all the way through, you're going to cut your piece off, and that's not what you're trying to do. So just do it so that it just makes a light score. You can see on the other side how that looks. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to cut off these 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to put adhesive on what's left. Okay, so I have that right here. So I went and I cut off the 4 corners. Okay, so cut them completely off, and then I added some of this double-sided tape, and I absolutely love this one. You can get this on Amazon. This is Elizabeth Craft Designs, and it comes in different widths, so you guys can choose the one that best suits your crafty needs. And I put separate pieces here, and I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see I scored it there so that I can tear each piece off separately. Okay, so there's that, and then just for the sake of time, I went ahead and did that. You're going to need acetate lid. So this one is 5.5 by 4.5, and then this is the box base cover sheet. That's what's going to wrap around the box, as I did here on this one. It wraps around the box. So that's your designer paper right here, and it is 6.5 by 5.5, and you're going to score it all the way around at a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. And I of course went ahead and did that too already, just for the sake of time. So you will need your scoreboard and your paper trimmer for this project. Okay, so let's get started with that. We'll do the acetate lid last. The other thing I want to show you guys is, if you want to, you can use these little corner pieces, and what it is, it's a strip of craft paper that I use. It's 1 inch wide, and I scored it at a 1/2 inch all the way down the middle, and then I cut them into 1 inch pieces for each one of my 4 corners. You don't have to do that, but you can. I like using double-sided tape for this project. Like I said, of course you can use wet glue if you feel more comfortable with that. The reason why I don't is because sometimes it can make your paper bubble up and you won't get that nice smooth finish. I will be using a little bit of hot glue for the corners. It dries quickly, and just for the sake of the video I will use it, but you can get away with just using this these corners with some wet glue if you have the patience to sit there and hold it for a little while until it sets up. So we'll try this and see if it helps. If not, we'll scrap it. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my paper, and this is going to be what's showing on the outside. This is going to be my outside. This is going to be, you're not even going to see this. So I'm going to put it right here. Let me put it on the grid so I can line it up a little bit better. And I'm going to take off this middle piece right here. Okay, I'm going to start with this piece right here. And I'm going to line this up so that it fits. See where my score lines are? Let me zoom in a little bit closer for you. Okay, so you can see my score lines here. There's one here, here, and here. Can't see it too well on camera, but it's there. All right, so I'm going to just line this up to the bottom and one of the sides. Press it down. Okay. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors, and on the narrow side, the long side here, I'm going to cut up on either side of these. Okay, and I may fast forward the video through the cutting part. So once you have that done, so it's like that. Once you have that done, then I'm going to cut about 2/3 of the way up from the left to the right. I'm going to cut about 2/3 of the way up on all four sides on this side. Okay, just like that. Okay, so that's what you're left with. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little notch on all of these that I just cut. Okay, so that's what you have. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently pull up my sides, okay, so that they all meet, okay, and then I'm going to glue it. Take one of these corners and put it on. Okay, and that kind of gives it a nice clean finish also. And I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other three sides. so there you have it. Now this first one here is a little bit tall, so I'm going to trim that off with my scissors. So you have a nice clean finish. Now I am going to use a little bit of wet glue on these sides here because it's already sticking to my double-sided tape. Now if I wanted to, I could just put double-sided tape here, but I think the wet glue will be a lot quicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting up the sides. I'm going to put up the long sides, and then I'm going to put this side up last. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these edges here and I'm going to fold them over on this side here. Again, I'm going to use some wet glue on these pieces right here. Okay, now so to get rid of a lot of the bulk once we fold this piece up, I'm going to trim off these edges right here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this paper here to the chipboard. And here is your box. So then now what we're going to do is we're going to fold these sides down. And you will need some wet glue or some of your double stick tape. You can use double stick tape. And the reason why I like to use double stick tape and not hot glue is because hot glue will create some bulk in here and then your acetate lid won't fit properly. So I would recommend either using some wet glue that you can smooth down or some double-sided tape. So I think I'm going to use some double-sided tape just for the sake of time. Okay, so now we're just going to fold them down. Okay, so there is your finished box base. Alright, and this is what the outside looks like. It's a really nice clean look, and there's your bottom. Okay, so that is how you make the box base. Now let me just let you guys know that when you do the acetate lid cover, you can choose to do your measurements and cut your acetate at this point, because what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take your ruler and measure the inside of the box. And mine is at like 2.5 inches, it looks like. So 2.5 inches from the inside to the inside, okay? Because the lid is actually going to sit inside of your box. And then you're going to measure this way, same thing on the inside, and mine is about 3.5 inches, okay? Okay, so you guys, we're going to work on the acetate lid, and these are the dimensions that I'm going to be using for this sheet. It is 5.5 by 4.5, and you will need your scoreboard for this, your ruler, an X-Acto knife, some scissors, and a corner rounder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score it on 4 sides. So we're going to score this 1 inch down here, 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on this side, and then you're going to pause. Okay, so you see those 2 dots that I have right here? I scored it from this line over 7/8 of an inch, and then from this line here over to 7/8 of an inch also, and then I made a little mark so that you guys can see it. And then from here to here, this is your side, and then from here to here is your side. I know you can't see it too well, but I made the score lines from the 1 inch mark on both sides, okay, if that makes sense. So then what we're going to do is we're going to score, like this is at the 5.5 inch mark. I'm going to go back to the 5.5, back to 4.5, okay, because that's 1 inch from the edge. That's my side. And I'm going to draw a score line all the way down to where this mark right here is that I made with the Sharpie. Okay, so I'm gonna go down and stop right about there, give it a good crease, and then I'm going to follow that line down to about where this one starts right here, and then I'm going to continue my score line. Make sure it's nice and heavy. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. So you should have a gap. You can see there's a gap right there. There's a gap in here where I didn't score it, so that's what you want. So what I'm going to do next is I have this green line here. I'm going to use that as my guide, and I'm going to push where my score line is. I'm going to move it back to 5 7/8. Okay, just move it back to 5 7/8, and then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to make a cut from where these 2 dots are. I'm going to make a cut from here to here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right about there. And I'm using my scoreboard because I get a straight line right in that groove. Okay, so you guys can see where I made my line. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way, and where the edge of that cut is, I'm going to join it to my score line and make another cut. Okay, and if it doesn't cut all the way through the first time, you can use go back and use your scissors and snip it. All right, and then we're going to do the same to this side. And then what I like to do is I like to go back with my scissors and just round out those sharp corners because you don't want them to cut you. So round that, and then on the other side I'll round it there too. Okay. Okay, so that's it for the scoreboard. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of these 4 corners out. Just cut them out completely. Now you can fold and burnish your lines. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crocodile corner rounder, and I'm using the large size on this one. This side is a 1/4 inch, so this side is about a 1/2 inch. I'm going to use this larger side to round out all of my corners. So you see how that end sticks out right here? Okay, so let's try it in our box. There you go. And just pull it up. There you go. So let's put something in it. We have these flowers here. These flowers are about 2 inches square. There you go. Really easy to do. It's a simple lid. I hope you guys like this tutorial. For those of you who asked, I hope this helped. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the description box below, and I'll be sure to answer. So give me a thumbs up if you like this tutorial. If you want to see more tutorials, just let me know what it is that you want, and I will be happy to do it for you. All right, so you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.